The story of Rapunzel. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in the land of make-believe, there was a rich, rather strange old lady whose name was Ireene. She had everything in the world she wanted, except a daughter. And the only person she really loved was Rapunzel, the beautiful young daughter of her gardener and his wife, old Zeb and Mrs. Zeb. As Rapunzel grew up, she began to look more like a beautiful princess than a gardener's daughter. And there was one thing about her different from anyone else: her hair. Yellow as gold and so long, it had to be looped up ever so many times to keep from trailing on the ground. The day of Rapunzel's 12th birthday, she went to Irene's house, as usual, to practice her music. Irene looked different that day, less kindly. Indeed, something like a storybook witch, in fact. She watched Rapunzel as the little girl sat at the piano, and then she muttered, half to herself, half to Rapunzel.
The time has come. I've waited long enough, and now you shall belong to me. Listen to my magic song. Rapunzel, never again will you see anyone in this world but me. Your mother and father will now disappear. This castle of mine no longer be here. Both you and I shall go far, far away. We shall live in a forest tower today. There will be no door, there will be no stair. No one else in the world shall enter there. But when to the tower I wish to climb, I'll sing to you this song of mine. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair that I may climb the golden stair.
Miss Ireene, where is your castle? Where are my mother and father? We can never escape from this tower.
Now, dearie. All you need do is let down your hair, and I shall be off each day to bring you a fine new book and a beautiful dress to wear. You need not worry about mother and father. They know not what has happened.
Oh, you are really a wicked old witch, as they said. But someday I shall be free. Until then, I shall make the best of this, do you hear? I shall make the best of it.
That's right, dearie. Let down your hair, so I may fly off and get you a pretty present. Meanwhile, play the music you love so much.
Yes, music. Something gay, happy, beautiful. Two stars are in heaven. Tra-la-la. How hard it is to sing when your heart is heavy. But Rapunzel did sing, and every day at twilight, a young prince rode past the tower and heard her song, but could not imagine who sang it.
From where does that voice come? There is no way to reach the tower. An old witch crouching at the foot of that tower. What is she up to? Oh, so she sings. I must listen to this. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair that I may climb the golden stair. By my life, look, a ladder of beautiful golden braids tumbling to the ground. The old woman climbs to the top and lifts the golden braids from sight. Someone does live in the tower. A princess. So that is where the song comes from. When the witch leaves, I shall try my luck. Aha, she goes. Now it is my chance to try the old woman's song and see what happens. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair that I may climb the golden golden stair. The princess, as I thought.
Oh, please go away.
Do not be frightened, Rapunzel. I wish to be your friend.
I'm not frightened. I've never seen anyone like you. Except in books, in my dreams. But Mother Zalbrin...
Mother Zalbrin. So you are truly Rapunzel of the legend. The story is true. I shall bring a ladder of gold and silk tomorrow, and we shall go away. I've looked all over the land of make-believe for someone like you, and now, if you are willing, we shall be married in the kingdom of my father.
You are indeed the prince of my dreams.
This is no dream, Rapunzel. Farewell until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow. Farewell. And then came Mother Zalbrin once again.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, that I may climb the golden stair.
Oh, it is you.
Of course it is. What do you think?
Nothing except you are slower than the prince.
Ah, Rapunzel, you have deceived me, and you shall see the prince no more. We shall cut off the precious ladder of golden hair. No, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, never again will you see the prince for whom you deceived me. I send you now to your desert home, to stay with your mother and father alone.
And the tower and Zalbrin disappeared, and Rapunzel was home again. Each day she sang the song the prince had heard. 2 stars are in the heaven, tra-la-la-la, la-la. Rapunzel, I hear you, but I cannot see you. Oh, my dear prince, the wicked Zalbrin, what has she done to your eyes?
Now, Rapunzel.
Your tears have made me see again.
Come, my dear. Bring your parents and we shall be married in the kingdom of my father.
And so Rapunzel wed the prince. She became his wife. And they've lived happily ever since, quite free from care and strife. And that is the old fairy tale of Rapunzel.
Once upon a time, in those long ago days of make-believe, there lived a poor widow with her 2 little daughters. Their names were Snow White and Rose Red. Even though they were very poor, they were happy as could be. One day, when they were quite small, they were playing together. For a while, everything was fine. Then they had an argument. They quarreled bitterly, and they were sorry afterwards, too.
It was my fault, Snow White, and I'm sorry, truly I am.
Oh, no, Rose Red.
It was my fault, and I'm sorry. We have such fun together. I could never get along without you. We won't quarrel anymore. We'll never go away from each other. Not ever. Will we, Rose Red?
No, not ever, Snow White. And when we grow up, we'll never even get married unless we can marry a prince and his brother so we can be together.
And we'll take you with us too, Mother.
Well, it's very nice to feel as you do. But those are dreams of far-off days, children. I'm glad you've learned so soon not to quarrel. And always remember now that to keep on being happy together, you must be unselfish with each other. So they did remember. They never quarreled after that, and they lived happily for many years. In pleasant summer weather, Snow White and Rose Red would run and play in the fields. In the winter evenings, they would sit beside the fire and spin while their mother read from a big book. One winter night, as they all sat around the fire, there was a loud knock on the door. Rose Red ran quickly to unbolt the lock, and what do you think? There stood a big black bear. Rose Red, of course, was frightened, but before she could say a word, the big bear growled a little, and then he talked.
just as if he were a young man and not a bear at all, except for his gruff, bear-like voice.
Don't be afraid, children and good madam. Please, I wish to be your friend. You see, bears are supposed to live in caves in the winter. But a magic spell was put over me, and the only way I can break it is to find some friendly people who will take me into their home for the winter. I've looked everywhere and tried every place, though. No one will let me in, good madam.
Well, never you mind. We're not afraid. You can come right in here. You sound gentle and kind enough. We shall be glad to let you come here as much as you like.
Oh, thank you, good madam. You will never regret your kindness, for I shall repay you with a friendship you and your children will never forget.
So every evening all through the winter, the kindly bear befriended Snow White, Rose Red, and their mother, and they befriended him. But in the spring, the bear said he would have to go away. Snow White and Rose Red begged him to stay, but the big bear only shook his head sadly.
I wish I could stay here where I have found such true friends, but now that winter is over, I must go. All my treasures were taken away from me and hidden in the woods. I must find the rascal who took them, for if I do not find him, I can never break the magic spell which caused me all this unhappiness. But I shall always remember you and your wonderful friendship. Farewell, dear good friends.
Farewell to you, gentle bear. Farewell. So the bear went away and was gone for quite a long time. And Snow White and Rose Red missed him very much.
Oh, Snow White, it's so long since we've seen a nice, friendly big bear. I do miss our friend and playmate.
Yes, so do I, Rose Red.
But we've no time to be unhappy. We've so much work to do. Right this very minute, we promised to gather firewood for Mother and try to catch a brook trout for supper. Come on, sister dear. All right, I'm coming. What about a song, Snow White? The one we used to sing for the bear, huh? Oh, yes, our own little song. Let's sing it.
Snow White, Rose Red, two sisters are we. We're always happy as can be. In summer months we run and we play. In the winter, by the fire we stay.
Oh, Snow White, look. There's a little dwarf with long, long beard and everything. See? He's in trouble, I think. Oh, yes, he is, Rose Red. His beard is caught in his gash of the tree trunk. Oh, the poor thing. Well. If you see what's wrong with me, why don't you come and help me, you stupid thing?
Of course we'll help you, but
How? What can we do, Rose Red? I know, Snow White. I have some scissors right here in my pocket. We can just cut the dwarf's beard a little bit, and then he'll be free. There now. You're free, little dwarf, see? Yes, I see. All right, stupid girls. You cut off a piece of my beard, my beautiful beard. Oh, me, oh, my. Now, where's that sack of mine? Oh, yes, here we are.
look at that, Snow White. What a cross little fellow.
Wasn't he impolite? After all, we did the best we could.
Of course we did, Rose Red. Don't worry about him. Now let's take these flowers home and go to the brook for a while before supper.
Come on, Rose Red. Let's have our song again.
All right, let's. Snow White, Rose Red, two sisters are we. We're always happy as can be. In summer months we run and we play. In the winter, by the fire we stay.
Snow White, look. There's that funny little dwarf again, squealing at the top of his ugly voice and running straight for the brook. Oh, he mustn't go in the brook. No, little dwarf, don't jump into the water. Stupid. Can't you see I'm not jumping? A big rascal of a fish is pulling me in. My beard is caught in my fish line and I can't get loose. Why don't you help me, you great big foolish girls? Help me, I say. Help me.
Of course we'll help you. Here, Snow White, you take his right arm and I'll take his left.
All right, I have it, Rose Red. Pull. Goodness, the fish pulls too. There you are, little dwarf. Ooh! Yes, here I am indeed, and my beard all tangled up in my fish line too.
Oh, dear.
The only way to keep you from being pulled into the water again is to cut the tip of your beard. It's lucky you have these scissors. There, now you're free again. You do get into lots of trouble, don't you?
Stupid, stupid, silly, silly, silly. This is how you ruin my beautiful beard. Cutting it shorter and shorter. Get out of my sight. Now, where did I put that other sack of mine? Oh, here it is, safe in the barberry bush.
Well, he's disappeared again. What a strange, unpleasant fellow he is, Snow White. He's the crossest thing I ever saw. Yes, he is cross, Rose Red. After he asked us to help him, he doesn't like the way we do it. Well, it's getting late. We better hurry home. Yes, 'tis late. Look, Snow White. A big tree has fallen across the path. So it has. We'll have to go around the other way. Rose Red, look. There he is again. The little dwarf, I mean. Oh, yes. Look at that big heap of stones he's piling up. Oh, those are not plain, ordinary stones at all. Those are pearls and rubies and emeralds and diamonds, too.
How dare you follow me? Stupid, silly, what are you looking at? I'll teach you to follow me around. You'll be sorry, so you will.
Oh, no, they won't, but you will.
Oh, it's a bear. Go away, go away, go away.
Be quiet, rascal of a dwarf. Don't be afraid, children. I'm your friend of last winter. Pretend you don't know me. I'll frighten this wicked little rascal as he deserves to be frightened.
Oh, Mr. Bear, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. I wouldn't be half a bite for you, but you could make a nice supper out of Snow White and Rose Red. Take them, Mr. Bear, and let me go, let me go, let me go.
No, I won't let you go.
Who are you? Are you the...
Yes, I am. The prince you robbed. When you cast your wicked spell over me and took my treasures, you thought I could never find human help and would have to remain a bear forever. But I did find friends, and now I've found you. And according to your own magic spell, you're to lose your wicked power forever. I'll just lock you up for a while in this nice little cave until you learn how to behave yourself.
Snow White, look, the bear. Yes, he's gone, and there's a prince standing there.
Yes, children, I was the bear. Snow White and Rose Red, you and your mother were kind to me when I was in trouble. Now I'm going to take care of all of you forever. We'll get your good mother, and together we shall visit the kingdom of my father, the finest, best king in all the land of make-believe. So that's exactly what happened, right then and there. And what do you think happened the very next year? Little Snow White and Rose Red became princesses in that great kingdom because Snow White married the prince and Rose Red married his brother, just as they always had dreamed of doing. And what else do you think happened? The bad little dwarf learned how to be good in time to go to the wedding. He was so sorry for the wicked things he had done that he worked all the rest of his life in the palace of the prince, and he was just as good can be. So they all lived happily ever after. And that, boys and girls, is the old fairy tale so many of you like so much, Snow White and Rose Red.
Once upon a time, long ago, there lived in the land of make-believe a poor old miller who had a beautiful young daughter. One day, the king sent word for the old miller to come to the royal court. He was so embarrassed and so shy, a single word, good impression on the king. To his amazement, he began realizing what he would... Gracious, I have a daughter. She's so beautifully gold right out of straw. Yes, that's it. Gold right out of straw. What are you saying, man? Your daughter?
and spin gold from straw. She is indeed clever, if she can do as you say. Unfortunate, however, if she cannot. The penalty for speaking falsely to your king is the dungeon, perhaps even death. Bring your daughter to the castle.
Well, that foolish old miller, he just trotted out, borrowed a beautiful gown for Millie, his daughter, to wear, then brought her to the court. When they arrived at the palace, the king looked very pleased.
Well, Miller, now let us see if you spoke the truth about her ability to spin gold out of straw.
Your Majesty. Poor Millie curtsied again and again before the king, trying her best to tell him she could do no such thing. But he paid no attention. And off she was sent to a room all filled up with straw, except for one little corner in which sat a spinning wheel. The king bowed and spoke politely.
Now, child, prove that your father spoke the truth. If you can spin gold from straw 3 times, you will prove him to have spoken the truth. If not, of course, you know the penalty.
The door was locked, and the miller's daughter was alone and frightened. How shall I begin? Oh, how can I spin the straw into gold? Oh, I would if I could, but I can't. Oh, are you? Little man, how did you get in here? The door was locked.
Locked doors don't bother me. Never mind who I am. Tell me, why, oh, why do you cry?
Because my father and I shall die. Because I cannot spin straw into gold, as my father told the...
I can't. What will you give me if I do?
I have nothing except a small ring and a bracelet. This poor little necklace.
So we shall see.
And the little man sat down at the spinning wheel.
Spin, thread, spin, fine and thin. Turn into gold, as I foretold.
So he spun and he spun and he spun, till all the straw had disappeared, and all of the spindles were filled with gold. Then, with a bow, he vanished. And poof, just like that. Just as the little man vanished, the sun came up, the door was unlocked, and in came the king. He smiled when he saw the gold.
Ah, it is well done, child. It is with regret that I must carry out the laws of the kingdom, and it will be necessary for you to spin more straw in this larger room.
The great doors of the larger room closed and locked, and Millie burst into tears. How shall I begin? Oh, how can I spin the straw into gold? Oh, I would if I could, but I can't.
Mistress Miller, what will you give me if I spin all of this straw into gold?
There is nothing much left, except this tiny ring.
So I shall take it. So, spin, wheel, spin. Fine and thin, turn straw into gold, as I foretold.
So he spun and he spun and he spun, till all the straw had disappeared, and all of the spindles were filled with gold. Then, with a bow, he vanished. And again, as the little man disappeared, the sun rose in the sky, the key turned in the lock, the doors flew open, and in walked His Majesty the King. He looked very pleased at what he saw.
My child, you are indeed beautiful and clever. There is but one more room filled with straw. Right here, my dear. When you have spun that straw into gold, your trials will be ended. No other maiden in the land has greater skill, virtue, and industry, and you shall be the queen of the land.
Please, Your Majesty, I must tell you. But His Majesty the King had gone. The doors were closed and locked, and the miller's daughter was again in tears. How shall I begin? Oh, how shall I spin the straw into gold? Oh, I would if I could, but I can't.
I can, though. What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold?
I have nothing more to give, little man. So instead of becoming queen, I must die. And my father, my poor father. Oh, what shall I do?
What a pity, what a pity, what a pity. But you know I can spin the straw into gold. And you will become the queen. Just promise to give me your first child.
No, of course. I could never make such a promise.
Not even to save the life of your father. So you want the poor old man to die?
No, of course I don't.
Disagreed, so spin, wheel, spin. Fine and thin. Straw turn to gold, as I foretold.
So he spun and he spun and he spun, till all the straw had disappeared, and all of the spindles were filled with gold. Then, with a bow, he vanished. And as the little man vanished, once again the sun rose, the doors opened, and in walked His Majesty the King.
My dear child, the wedding will take place at once.
Gracious Majesty, though my heart is filled with joy, I must tell you it was not I who spun the gold from the straw.
You are weary, child, and no wonder. There was no one else here.
And the king would not even listen to another word. So the great king and the miller's daughter were married. The little man was almost forgotten by the queen in her great happiness as she sang her baby to sleep one evening a few years later. Oh, little man of magic, little man who spun the straw into gold.
Yes, little man who spun the straw into gold. Little man who heard you promise to give me your first baby after you became the queen. The time is now, so give me the baby. Give me the baby now.
Little man, you may kill me if you like. I shall never give up my baby. And you may have all the gold that you have spun from the straw. It was given to me by His Majesty the King. I've saved it for you.
No, 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 no. No riches, no gold. Give me the baby. You promised, you promised, you promised.
Forgive me, please. I did not promise. You misunderstood. My father's life was at stake. I said I did not want him to die. Now take the gold, please.
No, but I will do this. If in 3 days you can find out my name, keep the baby. I release you. But if you do, I'll split in 2. But you won't because you can't, because nobody knows it in all the world, and nobody ever will. Whee!
So the little man disappeared. The queen sent a messenger to go throughout the kingdom and search for every name of every subject in the land, looking for a different name from anyone's. On the 3rd day he returned. Gracious Majesty, I found no different name, no new one, until last night, when near a small cottage hidden in the forest, I too was hidden and saw a strange little man hopping about on one leg, and this is what he was singing.
Although today I brew and bake, tomorrow the queen's own child I'll take. So nobody tell, for goodness sake, that my name is Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, thank you, my good messenger. Just then, the clock began to strike, and the little man appeared. Oh, greetings, little man of magic.
Greetings to you, Your Highness. I came for my reward. Give me the baby. Give me the baby now.
But I might guess your name. Is it not Peter?
No,
Is it not Michael?
no, 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 no.
Does it happen to be Rumpelstiltskin?
Yes, it does, it does, it does. Wicked queen, making promises she does not keep. You will never learn your lesson, and I have to split myself in two.
No, no, Rumpelstiltskin. I have indeed learned a lesson to make myself clearly understood. Please, I beg of you, do not harm yourself. And thank you with all my heart. Take all the gold that you desire. But Rumpelstiltskin just disappeared with a funny little smile on his face. He may have learned a lesson too, as did the queen, who was very careful to make herself well understood. And that is the old fairy tale of Rumpelstiltskin. Once upon a time long ago, in the land of make-believe, there was a little orphan girl whose name was Rosa. She lived in a small cottage, and she made her own living, spinning, weaving, and sewing. She was a happy little girl, and she sang at her work every day. She remembered the words her godmother had taught her, and sang them in a little song like this. The way to happiness you will find is in work well done and peace of mind. And in this cottage, humble and small, are treasures more rare than in palaces tall. The spindle will help spin thread for you. The shuttle will weave its magic too. The needle, too, in busy hands can work the magic of well-dreamed plans. So work here now and sing your song of dreams that may come true ere long. Rosa dreamed and sang at her work so much, the days went by very fast. She never was lonely. It seemed that she grew even more beautiful as she grew older, for she was good and sweet, and these are the most important things about being beautiful anyhow. As Rosa was growing up, so was the son of the king. Of course, he was a fine young prince, and rich as well as handsome. The kings had plans for the prince to marry a rich and elegant princess from a nearby land. He was amazed when the prince disagreed. "This is not my plan, sir, nor my desire, dear father. If I could find someone who was at once both the poorest and the richest, I should like to make that maiden my princess."
Now, my son, don't be ridiculous. How could a maiden be both poor and rich? That is something I do not understand.
Perhaps my father will understand when I explain. I wonder if he will, thought the prince, as he went riding along through the forest one day. A maiden who is poor in riches, but rich in happiness and goodness, is both rich and poor at once, and that is the kind of maiden I should like for a princess. Now it just so happened that one day, as the prince was riding through the forest and dreaming such thoughts, Rosa was working and dreaming some happy thoughts of her own. She had heard about the prince. Of course, everyone had. She was wondering just exactly what he did look like when suddenly there he was, just outside the window of the cottage. Rosa knew it was the prince, and she stared in wonder. He is wonderful, as everyone says. Oh, goodness, I must not stare so rudely. I must get on with my work. So Rosa bent her head and went on with her spinning. She hardly knew whether the thread was running evenly or not, but she worked until the prince had ridden away. Then she jumped up from the spinning wheel, tiptoed to the window, and gazed after the prince until the jaunty white plume in his hat was no longer to be seen. Oh, he is splendid. I must get busy. I feel so happy. What was that little song Godmother used to sing? Oh, yes, I remember now. Spindle, spindle, dance and roam, lead my prince back to my home. No sooner said than done. A strange little voice spoke to Rosa. Oh, my goodness me, what happened? And out of Rosa's hand jumped the spindle on its small little foot. Out the door and down the road it hopped. Rosa looked after it in wonder. Of course, it trailed the shimmery golden thread after it as it went and finally disappeared. That's the strangest thing that ever happened. I can't do any more spinning, but I must keep busy. I better get out my shuttle and start to weave. So, as Rosa was weaving with the shuttle, the little spindle danced merrily through the forest until it caught up with the prince. He looked at it in amazement.
Well, what do I see? A dancing spindle. Can it be it wishes to lead me somewhere? I shall follow the thread and see what happens.
So the prince turned his horse around and followed the thread. Of course, Rosa knew nothing about all this. She was working, weaving busily. For some reason or other, she felt very happy and gay, and sang the song her godmother had taught her so long ago. Spindle, spindle, dance and roam, lead my prince back to my home. Shuttle, shuttle, weave away, bring him back this very day. No sooner said than done. Again, a funny little voice spoke, and out of Rosa's hand jumped the shuttle, and away it went. Rosa ran to the window again. Where did it go? Well, I must find some other work to do. But that little shuttle had only jumped outside the door, and right on the doorstep, it began to weave a long, narrow carpet. A marvelous carpet with a border of roses and lilies. There were gay little birds perched on the branches. Everything looked as though it might really be growing instead of just being part of a pattern in a rug. Back and forth went the shuttle, and all the time the carpet grew longer. But Rosa knew nothing of that, for she had found her needle and was working as hard as she could. Of course, as she worked, she sang, and this is what she sang. Spindle, spindle, dance and roam, lead my prince back to my home. Shuttle, shuttle, weave away, bring him back this very day. Needle, needle, sharp and fine, tidy up this house of mine. And then, like magic, no sooner said than done, said the funny little voice again. And the needle flew about the room, in and out, back and forth, in and out, up and down, and everything changed like magic. For the needle was sewing beautiful covers for the tables and chairs, and curtains for the windows, and a rug for the hard bare floor. And just as the rug had stretched itself out comfortably, Rosa looked up and saw the prince. He jumped down from his horse and walked to the doorstep of the cottage. There was Rosa standing in the lovely house, wearing her plain little dress, but everything around her was beautiful. The prince just stood and smiled and held out his hand.
You are the girl I've been looking for.
Surely not I. I'm Rosa, the orphan girl, and very poor.
But you are also very rich in many things, mostly in goodness and sweetness. Will you come with me and be my princess?
Oh, it is like a story, Your Highness, a dream come true. It must be that my spindle, my shuttle, and my needle are magic, like a fairy godmother. They've made all this come about. So little Rosa married the prince, and it is said she kept the spindle, the shuttle, and the needle in the royal treasure chamber, and that she and the prince lived happily all their lives. And that, girls and boys, is the old fairy tale by the brothers Grimm.